It was initially dismissed, a mere frozen rock wandering in from the farthest corners of space. A cold, unfeeling piece of ice and dust, a useless relic discarded into our solar system as the randomness of a cosmic coin toss. But 3AI Atlas would not behave like any typical object. Its trajectory defied celestial mechanics. Its internal emissions throbbed with an abnormal pattern. And when the James Webb Space Telescope finally settled its unwinking eye on this old journeyman, what it found shattered all presupposition about what might be deemed natural. Under its rugged, spinning surface, concealed far back in the mass, lay something no one in science had anticipated finding, a pattern. Not haphazard, not geological, but intentional. Ordered geometry repeating with mathematical nicety. Grids, angles, walls, and corridors, all at perfect intervals. The Webb telescope had not taken reflections alone, it had revealed a design. A structure that was uncannily like the plan of a city. And in doing so, it had also asked an even bigger question: what is 3AI Atlas, and who might have constructed it? First, 3AI Atlas had been classified as nothing more than a curiosity, the third interstellar object to enter our solar system. Its trajectory was unusual but predictable. Minor deviations were observed, but nothing ominous, until James Webb started imaging its surface in infrared. The telescope's sensors detected not noise, but repeating geometric patterns obscured by cosmic dust. With its NIRCam and MIRI instruments, Webb plotted heat patterns tracing out structures too symmetrical, too deliberate to be accidental. Long tunnels, right-angled intersections, covered spaces repeating with machine-like accuracy. Initially, scientists wrote off the findings as sensor malfunctions. But as the data continued to flow in, denial became out of the question. The design within 3AI Atlas had design principles. Proportions, if applied to the Earth context, were city block-like, grid-based, modular, uniform in multiple compartments. Nature doesn't construct with perfect symmetry. Intelligence does. But the geometry was only half the shock. What really disturbed the scientists was the thermal activity within the object. The center of 3AI Atlas was releasing infrared bursts from certain, cyclical areas, and those areas corresponded exactly to the grid structures. The heat was not coming out in random directions, it was being released in contained bursts, as if regulated energy flow from machinery or infrastructure. On our planet, that would be like temperature control systems or active reactors. Webb's readings even picked up fluctuations that implied thermal control. Some of the internal chambers were alive, held at a steady warmth instead of cooling off like dead rock. That observation, together with electromagnetic interference from around the object, pushed engineers toward a disturbing hypothesis: the voids inside may not be entirely empty, they could be shielded. Some frequencies ricocheted off their walls entirely, whereas others were absorbed or deflected, as if being processed. The only rational explanation for such an act was purpose. This wasn't just a rock. It might be a container. To make sense of how such a structure was possible, scientists started comparing 3AI Atlas to human-made engineering, subterranean metropolises, nuclear shelters, even space vehicles. The similarities were unnerving. The internal chambers of the object replicated the dimensions of the most effective human survival environments. Some compartments were hexagonal, mirroring aerospace design aimed at maximum strength with least material use. Others were based on Fibonacci spacing, a mathematical ratio employed by nature in growth and by designers for optimal design. A European Space Agency physicist suggested the arrangement signified environmental compartmentalization, a system designed to shield occupants or technology from deep space radiation and temperature flux. That concept generated an even deeper potentiality, that 3AI Atlas was not a remnant of something ancient, but one of the remaining portions of something vastly larger. That it could have been a station, a lifeboat, or a ship sent not to discover, but to flee. And if that is the case, then its entrance into our era, into our solar system, may not be happenstance by any means. It might have been programmed, directed, or even sketched here on purpose. If it bore something, or someone, then 3AI Atlas is not just an object, it's a message. Experts have debated for weeks on what to name the anomaly. Some refer to it as non-natural architecture. Others employ nebulous expressions such as thermal anomaly with geometric resonance. But under all the academic discretion is the same fact: this may be proof of alien engineering. Even the words are sufficient to chill public announcements. But every fresh sweep tightens the same conclusion: this thing is not random in origin. Its traits are placed, and timed for a purpose. Active or inactive, it isn't merely drifting, it's unveiling itself. Governments have noticed. Military satellites are now tracking 3 AI Atlas, and communication arrays have been silently repositioned. The tone change behind the scenes is indelible, the sort that occurs when the impossible starts looking like a possibility. For if this actually is a structure, if it's a city-scale machine contained inside an interstellar body, then the finding goes beyond science. It becomes a civilization moment. As Webb's imagery made its way around world observatories, another trend showed up, not in the data, but in the scientists. The world's top astrophysicists began refusing to comment. Some offered only carefully measured phrases: unexpected, unprecedented, statistically improbable. But behind that cautious language was fear, not fear of 3 AI Atlas itself, but of what acknowledging it would mean. Admitting that we've photographed an engineered interior inside an interstellar object would shatter centuries of belief about humanity's uniqueness. It would imply that there was intelligent, technological life elsewhere, and that once it had been mobile, able to ship artifacts across the galaxy. Maybe 3 AI Atlas is a remnant intended to survive its creators. Rather than face the reality of that, much of the scientific community has remained in the dark, allowing the implications to further fade into obscurity. Not all of them have been silent, though. In a dramatic gesture, American and European defense agencies repurposed high-altitude satellites to observe 3 AI Atlas. These were not civilian tools, they were thermal sensors, radio frequency detectors, and deep space track systems normally employed for missile detection. Why target such assets on a comet? Secrets quickly spilled out. The object wasn't motionless. It spun with purposeful regularity, the rotation precise and repeatable. Some thermal areas flashed in periodic cycles. Gravitational signals indicated internal shifts of mass, as though secret machinery was gradually reorganizing itself. And the most spine-tingling leak of all, weak rhythmic pulses, not radio, not light, but gravity. Something within 3 AI Atlas seemed to be employing gravity as a means of communication. What had formerly been a comet now found itself monitored as a machine. During a classified conference between AI scientists and astrophysicists, Webb's data was fed into a high-resolution spatial interpreter, a sophisticated model capable of reconstructing 3D structures from multispectral images. The outcome was breathtaking. The AI produced not noise, but an entire architectural diagram, several levels, transit tubes, thermal conduits, energy nodes, even storage-like rooms. The algorithm was unbiased, it just followed the input data. The result appeared unmistakably like a self-contained biosphere, a container constructed to keep either life or hyper-advanced systems across vast distances. One of the scientists who examined the curvature of the corridor commented on something even more bizarre: the shape would not accommodate human body anatomy. The routes were too constrictive, the curves too abrupt, the proportions too asymmetrical for creatures like ourselves. Whatever previously inhabited this site wasn't constructed like humanity. And perhaps, it didn't walk at all. Now, in scientific and military communities both, the argument runs deeper. Is 3 AI Atlas a mausoleum, a deserted ship lost to the ages? Or is it a deliberate message, a relic directed towards whatever intelligence might see it? If that's the case, then its presence isn't chance, but a message carved in stone, geometry, and photons.